Guys, Crypto Renegade here. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly when alt season in 2022 is going to begin. Stay tuned, you do not want to miss this video. All right, welcome back. So right before I jump into the content, we're going to take a look at the altcoin indicators that I'm looking at of when I think we're going to see the first altcoin season of 2022, and we're getting pretty damn close. But just wanted to give a quick shout out. If you go to cryptorenegade.live, I started a new podcast. Go ahead and check it out. You can sign up for the free case study here where I demonstrate in private videos turning $100 into $1,000, and it sort of ties into what I'm going to be talking about here today. But again, if you're interested in uncensored, unfiltered, useful crypto content, how to make money, all that kind of good stuff, check out cryptorenegade.live. All right, so let's take a quick look here before we jump into the charts. If we take a look here at CoinGecko, these are the top gainers of the last 24 hours. You have things like Zyto, Loopring, Heart, never even heard of that yet. Mina Protocol I'm aware of, Near Protocol, and then Cardano had some recent news, AXS, and of course ApeCoin. We're going to take a look at a couple of these. But if you take a look at the just overall Bitcoin price, we're looking at about 42,500 roughly. Ethereum is at a key critical point at 3,000, which is a round psychological number. And of course, there's a lot of other altcoins that are making moves. So even though things have been very bearish, there's been a war going on, there's been rampant inflation, the Fed just raised interest rates, and they are going to be raising interest rates throughout the rest of the year. These are the things that I'm looking for, and I'm getting prepared, especially in my live case study, to demonstrate how to take advantage of this upcoming alt season. So if we take a quick look at the chart here, I want to kind of outline Bitcoin and where we're at and where I kind of think we're going. Right here, we're seeing obviously all-time high resistance. I'm going to call 70,000. There's major multi-year support here at 30,000. Now, this bar that you see right here at the bottom here, this is since the start of this sort of long, huge consolidation pattern of Bitcoin, has been over 494 days. That means we're almost 500 days into Bitcoin in a large consolidation range. In fact, the longest and largest range of Bitcoin ever in history. So this is literally just coiling up. Now, as of right now, the low of 2022, we saw that happen in January. And of course, now we're at the end of March. So right now it's been sort of coiling up, as you can see right here, with 45K resistance and a low of 31K. It's been making higher lows and higher highs, as you can see, forming an ascending wedge here for about 59 days or around 2 months. The longer that this chops around and continues to tag resistance here at 45K, the more momentum that we'll have a break above that, in my opinion. We're also looking at, I just marked up here because it's related obviously to the chart, another emotional round number, 50K Bitcoin. So not only do we have a 45K massive resistance that's been rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times at least in the last 60 days, but you also have 50K resistance, and then basically from 50K all the way up to 70K is pretty much open air. However, a lot of macro things are going on in the world, and what I'm really looking for, we're going to look at about 7 other altcoins in just a second. Of all of these charts are looking really close to inflection points. If we can really break above with clear confirmation above 45K resistance, I think this is going to be the beginning of when the alt season is. And that's why I'm holding off on a lot of my trade setups at the moment, because I'm patiently waiting for confirmation. Because as you can see, it's been rejected multiple times off of 45K over the past 2 months. Now, a lot of people are impatient and a lot of people don't want to wait. They think, well, why don't I just buy lower? Well, because again, you would rather have a confirmation that we do break above before you enter any particular altcoins. But again, if you are new to Bitcoin and you want a dollar cost average and hold stuff for the long term, there's no better time than now. So with all that said, here's sort of my overview of Bitcoin and how it relates to the 2022 alt season. Again, I just want to put this in perspective before I move to the next chart. Almost 500 days here of overall consolidation. And so when we make the next leg up into new all-time highs, this thing is going to be like a springboard, just ready to pop. All right, so again, Ethereum, taking a quick look at the Ethereum chart, it's squeezing here with a bull pennant right here. It's again coiling up, similar to Bitcoin, except it's tagging diagonal resistance right here as well at 3,000. Now again, 3,000 is a round emotional number. Down here at this support level area is 2,000. You guessed it, up here is around roughly the 4,000 range, and then we have an all-time high of, we'll call it a $5,000 range. What I'm looking for is for Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, for Ethereum to kind of go in between this area here. Really just a lot of room between 3,000 and 4,000. There's a lot of ERC20 based tokens that will thrive if we see a pop inside of this range. And it's actually, if this breaks out of resistance, and let's say it pops up to about 3,200, comes back and retests 3,000, that could catapult it all the way up to 4,000. Because here's what's going on with Ethereum. Not only is proof of stake going to be rolled out tentatively in June, in just a few short months, but there's a lot of things and a lot of EIP updates and rollouts that are making it deflationary. And so I think that there's a lot of positive momentum, as you can see, based on the price action of what's going on with Ethereum. So this is very close to breaking out of resistance. And as I'm about to show you with a few other charts here, a lot of things are currently at their technical resistance. Now, Ethereum Classic, as you can see right here, this one had a recent pop and looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles popped up in a row, and now it's hitting a red candle. Resistance is at around $65, and it was at an accumulation low of at around $18 to $20. So it's about mid-range. At this moment in time, unless it comes back to this bottom range and retests, I'm not going to enter a trade. But congrats to anyone that made that trade. That was basically, if I were to look at it right here, if you were to catch this on the mini breakout, you would have made about 47%, which isn't bad, nothing bad at all. But since it is mid-range and there is overhead resistance at $60, that's not something personally I'm going to be entering at this given moment in time. I don't know if there was a news-related event. I'm simply just looking at the charts at the moment and what actual price action truth is doing versus any fundamental news. Next up, we have Mina Protocol. This is one that I'm very close to be setting up for a trade setup. Now, it has very strong support down around $6. It's testing resistance right now at about $12 to $13. As you can see, it's forming, again, higher lows and higher highs. Ascending wedges are some of the most bullish patterns in crypto. And then, of course, you have an all-time high of roughly $20. So there's a lot of room right here. If you take a look at the, from the all-time high, it's a lot of room right here for profit to be made here, especially if this is continuation that breaks this resistance. So if this breaks above $13, between $13 and $20 all-time high resistance, you have a lot of room to run in there. So that's actually a trade setup that I'm looking for. But again, a lot of this is all contingent on Bitcoin confirming and breaking 45K with conviction. Because once Bitcoin breaks 45K with conviction, we're going to see a whole lot of alts run, and these are the ones that I'm looking at. Next up, of course, is Avax. Now, Avax broke out of a descending triangle, which is good and is bullish. However, you have very strong resistance turn support here. We'll call it $98 to $100. And as far as a trade setup or a continuation goes, I'm not personally going to be entering this unless I can see a clean break above this. A lot of fundamental news, a lot of partnerships with Terra, UST, and deployments going on. So fundamentally, in terms of the development, I like what's going on with Avax, but in terms of immediate trade and immediate alt season, I'm waiting for confirmation. Like I said, it all kind of comes back to Bitcoin. Same thing here goes with Solana. It's established sort of a bottom support of around $80. And it's getting really close to diagonal resistance. So if this thing pops above diagonal resistance and has a continuation trend, that is certainly something that I am going to be looking to enter in for a long. Again, I'm going to see if it gets rejected off of this resistance and goes down, or if it's going to break through with strength. Again, this is Solana. Fundamentally, it's not something I hold long term. However, I will trade it if the right opportunity and volume presents itself, because again, there are fundamental things going on with NFTs and platforms that are making it very attractive. Two more to go real quick. Right here we have Loopring. Again, a lot of unknowns, a lot of hints that it's related to the GME. It's had a massive green daily candle where it's up 42%. Again, establishing a floor at around 60 cents. It's got overhead resistance at we'll call it $1.15 to $1.20, and it's still not able to quite break this resistance. However, what you have up here is what I like to call the red wall of death. There is a lot of bag holders up here, and there's going to be sort of resistance and selling pressure going into this until it breaks, of course, the all-time high of $4. So just beware. If this is something that you like long-term fundamentally, it's still in a range where it's a relatively low-cost basis, but for a trade setup, I would need to see clear conviction well above this resistance, but there is a massive wick and massive resistance that it's not breaking through. You're probably noticing a pattern right now where most things are not breaking through resistance. They're right at resistance. It's struggling to break through, but as you've seen in the last couple of charts I just went through, a lot of things are right at resistance, which is why I'm ready to pull the trigger when we get confirmation. And again, I think that catalyst is going to be 45K plus Bitcoin, because it's going to skyrocket, in my opinion, in terms of altcoins. Last but not least, I'm looking here at Mina Protocol. Fundamentally a pretty good project, but again, it established a floor and it had a huge pop, and there's a large wick, so it's being sold into. As you can see with this arrow here, this is roughly $3, which is support, obviously now turned resistance. If it breaks above $3, you have a long ways till the all-time high of about $7, so there's a lot of room in this area to make money if this is a project that you like. But again, it still has overhead resistance. All these things that we're looking at in terms of resistance, I want to make sure that there's confirmation to get above that, whether it's breaking through, retesting it, and then catapulting as a 1, 2, 3, 4 breakout pattern, or by indicating what Bitcoin does. Because honestly, I think once Bitcoin breaks through 45K with conviction, all of these coins, if not several others, are going to have nice rallies, and that's a good opportunity for you to make trades. So if this is something that you want to follow more closely, go to cryptorenegade.live, sign up for the free case study, again, in conjunction with the podcast that I'm doing. So case study, you'll have access, no bars hold back, and again, want to support me, that would be a great way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here, and I will see you guys in an episode very shortly. Crypto Renegade out.